My dear boys and girls, you are welcome back to Primary 6 English, and our topic is debating. We are still looking at conditional sentences. Today, we want us to look at if to with its impossibilities. We are going to look at examples when we are referring to things which are not possible, or results which we think are not possible. This is what we always emphasize. Instead of using was as the past tense, we always use were. For example, if I were you, that one automatically means I can't be you. There is no possibility of me turning into you. If I were a goat, really? Can I be a goat? You can see there is no possibility of me turning into a goat. If I were God. So these are major impossibilities we shall refer to in this lesson. Take an example. If we are looking at if to, were is used to emphasize the impossibility, especially if what we are emphasizing is impossible and cannot happen. We are very sure it can't happen. You can't become a god. You can't be me. But there is a possibility of you becoming a teacher. So you say, if I was a teacher. There you are correct. If I was a teacher. But you can't say, if I was teacher Anatori. That one is impossible. You can say, if I was teacher Anatori. Because you can't be teacher Anatori, but you can be a teacher. You can be a teacher, but you can't be teacher Anatori. So there is a possibility of you becoming a teacher. There you use was, if I was a teacher. But for specific teacher like me, like any other teacher, then there we use were. If I were teacher Anatori, what would you do? If I were a goat, what would you do? Look around. If you are God, I know you cannot be God right now. That's why I use were. So we use were when we are emphasizing those impossible results which we know cannot happen. Examples are, if I were the chairperson of this debate. As I told you, you can be a chairperson, but not of this debate. There is a chairperson already in this debate. So you can say, if I were the chairperson of this debate, then I would send that shabby speaker out. If I were the chairperson of this debate, I would send that shabby speaker out. But can you be the chairperson of that debate? Maybe you can be a chairperson of the debate, but not this one, because this one already has the chairperson. So use were when referring to those impossibilities. Take a look at example number 2. If I were a goat, I would not eat peelings. Indeed, you are not a goat and you cannot eat the peelings. Therefore, we are saying, if I were a goat. Emphasize this word were, where you think what the result is impossible. Where you think the result is impossible. If you think you can't be, or what you are thinking about can't be what you expect, therefore use were. Let's take a look at number 3 and number 4. They are not different that much. If I were the current speaker. If I were the current speaker. Already there is a current speaker going on, speaking. Like I'm now the current speaker, speaking, debating. Really? Can you be me? If I were the current speaker, I would stop moving on the floor. If I were the current speaker, I would stop moving on the floor. But you can't be the current speaker, always use were. But you can say, if I was the speaker, if I was the speaker. That one is possible. You can be the speaker in some time to come. In any other debate, you can be the speaker, but the current is already there, therefore you can't be the current speaker. That's where we put much emphasis. We are emphasizing the word were, whereby we need to know it is used to show or to emphasize where we have impossibilities. Number 4, which is our last example, if you were the first speaker, you would define keywords in the motion. Were you the first speaker? No. In this instance, you are referring to the first speaker, but you are not the one. You weren't the one. Therefore, you use were, because it is not possible for you to become the first speaker of that debate which has ended, where here you have not been the one. So here we are using were. My dear boys and girls, hope you speak correct English when using conditional sentences, and majorly when we are dealing with if to. I want to remind you that in if clause 1, we use the simple present tense, and in the main clause 1, we use the future simple tense, where we use will and shall. This one changes to if to, where the if clause changes the past simple tense. In summary, the if clause changes into present simple tense for if to, and then we look at the main clause using the would, additional would for the main clause. I hope you'll be able to change the sentences I have given you. They are just a little few. There are few, 5 of them. I hope you'll be able to change them to if to, measuring on the key verbs to change and the tense. I wish you the best.